Hi, welcome to Route 66, day 68 in our journey through the Bible. It's been a great journey so far, and we're coming down to the near the end of the book of Deuteronomy, Moses' final instructions to the nation of Israel before they go into the promised land. So we have three chapters today, Deuteronomy 29, 30, and 31. So grab your Bible and let's see what we have here. Just a little summary of the chapters that you're going to read, maybe a little explanation as you go along there. Deuteronomy 29, Moses gathers all the Israelites to remind them of the covenant that was made with God, that they made with God. The covenant is a special agreement that he made with them and they made with him. He explains this isn't just for the people that are there now, but it is for all future generations. And it calls everyone to remember their history with God and what God has done for them and the promises that have been made, the promises that they share, what God will do for them, what they will do for God. And so it's encouragement to do that. Now, Deuteronomy chapter 30, Moses explains that following God's commands will always bring blessings. They'll bring life, he says. And while when you turn away from God, they're going to bring difficulties. He urges people to make a choice, choose life by loving God, obeying God, making good decisions. God's way is the best way for a happy and prosperous life. That always has been, not only with the nation of Israel, but with us. And in Deuteronomy chapter 31, Moses is preparing to step down. He's going to pass the leadership from him, taking them all the way out of Egypt, to Joshua, and he gives his final instructions to the Israelites. Encourages them to be brave, to be courageous, to keep God's laws in their heart. And he reminds them that God will always be with them as long as they stay faithful. You turn from God, God will leave you alone. God is not going to force you to do his will. So you follow God, you stay with God, he'll stay with you. Moses also tells the people to teach that next generation about God's promises. Don't just keep it for yourself, but continue to pass the baton on down. You know, in a relay race, you pass that baton to the next person. And so we need to be able to do that. So some lessons here that we have in these three chapters. Number one, remember your history. Knowing where you came from helps you understand where you are and where you're going to be going. We are a result of the decisions and the promises that have been made before us, not only as a people, but also with God. The Israelites are reminded to remember that covenant with God. It's a powerful way to stay connected in their faith and in their tradition, to remember what they've done. And so I think it's an important thing to do, is to remember our history with God. Second lesson is choose life by obeying God. Moses tells them that if you choose to follow God's way, you're going to be blessed. And I think that's an important thing for us to do. We have choices whether we're going to do it God's way or we're going to try it our way or we're going to kind of try somebody else's way. But God's guidance always leads us to a good life. I think a third lesson is pass on what you've learned. God teaches us so many things in the experiences of our lives and in the reading of his word. And I think it's important to pass it down. There's two bodies of water in the promised land, the Jordan River and the Dead Sea. The Jordan River is a living river because it flows all the way down and it waters many places. The Dead Sea is dead because it has nowhere to go. And we want to make sure that when God teaches us something that we're passing it on to other people, passing it on to our family, passing it on to our friends. That's what discipleship is all about. It's taking what I've learned and teaching it to somebody else. That's why it's good to be a Sunday school teacher. It's good to be, our children's ministry is a great way to pass it on down to that next generation, whether the generation is in age or whether it's in Christian involvement, somebody that's more mature in their faith, passing some things on to those that aren't as mature in their faith. I think that's important. So those are some great lessons to learn from the reading today. So it's going to be good. So tomorrow we're going to finish up on Deuteronomy and we'll be hitting into the next book of the Bible.